When one thinks of North Carolina, what TV show do we normally think of? Some will say Outer Banks, but I'm gonna say One Tree Hill. Yes, I'm that old that reveals my age. That's the one thing. But this is Down the Rabbit Hole where we talk about paranormal activity, haunted history, folklore, urban legends, stuff like that. So if you're new here, hit that like button, hit that bell for notifications. Also, please subscribe. My goal is to hit 100 subscribers by the end of the school year and everything. So I'm currently sitting on my bed because I don't want to clean my desk off right now. And for those of you who are avid followers, you know what I'm talking about. That desk is just something we don't want to talk to. And we're leading into spooky season as well, so why not talk about some of these places, right? Well, today we're talking about the Black Pelican restaurant um in North Carolina. And like the seashells that are strewn along the beaches, the North Carolina coast is scattered with stories about its cultural history. Native Americans, European explorers, pirates, shipwrecks, life-saving lighthouses, fishermen, and boat builders, who were all examples of this messed up way, who were all examples that messed away in a salty and sandy archive. As time would pass, remnants of our cultural landscape are beginning to become less familiar unless you take the time to seek them out. One such gem is the Kitty Hawk Life Saving Station that is unrecognizable disguised as the Black Pelican restaurant along the Outer Banks. Now, even though it's the old station has already been moved twice to escape the ocean tides, large piles of sugar and dunes um, are still needed to protect the surging waves. Speaking of North Carolina, I do want to say I hope all the victims of Helene are safe. Or have evacuated, and I am praying for y'all, and hopefully y'all get a good recovery and everything. And I will say that I'm very shocked that East Tennessee got a lot of it because I was not expecting East Tennessee to get any damage. I live in the Nashville area, so I am very grateful for that, but my prayers are out with y'all. But anyway, after many additions, the gingerbread trim of the peak of the gable roof is the only hint of its past life. Now, um, Now, you know those old sayings with talking wall if walls could talk? Well, these old walls could spin yarns of triumph and achievement, anger and hope and rescue. This could be a whisper tales of ghosts and the supernatural, and in the mid 1800s, there was an increase of maritime traffic along the East Coast. It has become apparent that the land-based rescue stations were needed to assist the stranded and wrecked ships. While hurricanes and nor'easters pounded the coast and everything, and ships along the barriers are frequently grounded on uncharted, invisible, deceptive as bars. The early life-saving stations relied on the volunteers with the um, rescue boats and equipment that was provided by federal government, but a strong hurricane in 1854 revealed the makeshift station from overwhelmed by the task of rescuing the sailors in rough seas. The Kitty Hawk life-saving station and its crew was around 1900 and everything. Now, by 1874, a number of life-saving stations was constructed along the island, including the Kitty Hawk. And the stations typically consisted of a crew of 7 men, a keeper, usually referred to as a captain, 6 men, and experienced marinas, sailors, and fishermen, referred fishermen. W.D. Tate was was the station's first keeper and replaced his who was replaced years later by a man named James R. Hobbs. Like all keepers, Hobbs worked with the crew 6 days a week, keeping them sharp and prepared. Now, they drilled often, launching their boats in the water through the crashing of the sands, and they patrolled the beaches up to 5 miles on foot. Stood the hours of the lookout tower, chairs were forbidden, and it was also practiced by signaling first aid. Now, the Kitty Hawk Station was a long stretch along the sandy shore, and the isolation here was no different than that of a becalmed sailing ship at sea. And the crew worked together and lived together and confines to the isolation of the The isolation may have never gotten may have gotten on each other's nerves. Now, Theophilus L. Daniels, by some account, um, was one of Hobbes' men, and other accounts imply that he was a local after Hobbes. In either way, Daniels leveled a serious charge against him, accusing him of using a government position for his personal benefit, and this including using using government-owned paint for his private vote, using men under charge to carry out the chores on his personal farm, and by a serious accusation of the absconding witch was good for a shipwreck. James Hobbs and his wife Eliza, Library of Congress. Now Daniel detested him and always greeted him with unfiltered profanities, using vulgarities and stuff like that. And it's also reported that things went too far when Daniels insulted Hobbs' wife and may have spit tobacco on juice on her. Ew. Now Daniel repeatedly reported to Hobbs' supervisor, such as an investigator was sent out to the accusation to resolve the matter, and inside the station, the investigator began questioning Daniels, but once Hobbs stepped into the room, Daniels began to question him and reached for his pistol in his pocket. As his gun would work, Hobbs pulled out a shotgun after his closet was fired twice, fatally wounding him and everything. Now, his body was said to have been buried at sea, and the investigator declared it self-defense. Daniels himself is still restless, and his spirit lies in the bang, said to bang around inside the station house, now in the Black Pelican restaurant, where he was killed. And workers at the restaurants report many mysterious noises and shadowy lurking around, so prominent that these reports in the restaurants is listed in one of the spooky haunts of Outer Banks. Now, 16 years after the killing of Daniels, in 1900, the Kitty Hawk Station, which also served as a weather bureau and telegraph office, was visited by two strangers from Ohio with big dreams of flying. Can we guess who these are? Can we guess? I'll give you a hint. They're brothers, and they're called the White Brothers, Robert and Orville, and they wanted to conduct a glider test nearby um, Kill Devil Hills to see if the area was suitable for experimental flying machines. And at the station, they sent messages back home and received vital weather information. Captain Hobbs trained his boat crew relentlessly in everything. So just down the beach from Kitty Hawk Station was the Kill Devil Hills Lifesaving Station. When off duty, the crew of Kill Devil Hill Station was frequently volunteering to assist the brothers in an attempt to fly their homemade motorizing flying contraption. Now, viewed by lovable nuts, the Wright brothers were welcomed by the men at the stations, and Orville and Wilbur owed a debt to the men, as they were indispensable in running errands and essentially the first airplane crew ever. Now, on December 17, 1903, with 30 miles per hour northeast wind of stringing their nose, the Kill Devil Heroes crew never hesitated to help the icy cold morning with their plane glided above the drones. And the iconic first photo was actually snapped by one of the surfmen with four successful flights. The brothers, after eating lunch, calmly hiked over to Kitty Hawk Life-Saving Station. Here on the hills, um, of their shoes, scuffed across the wooden floor, and they also handed the telegraph operator a note. And the tapping of the telegraph note was vibrating to the walls through the station news of triumph. Manned flight had been achieved. And after a successful flight, the brothers continued to return to Kitty Hawk for a number of years. And everything for a number of years, refining the aircraft among the open dunes, and they still relied on the generosity of the life-saving station and the crewmen. Now in 1908, they even nursed Wilbur back to health in the Kitty Hawk station when he came down. Um, when he came down with a bad case of the flu. And because of the relationship of the White brothers, and many of the surfmen went on to become local celebrities. A crew member of the life saving station took a photo of the Wright brothers' first flight and everything. Now, serving at one of these remote, lonely outposts was most likely at times quite boring. From the vantage point, the lookout tower, the men scanned the horizon for any sign of ship in distress. Often the gaze took out familiar shape of a lone pelican gliding above the mist of the ocean spray. And the pelican was different. However, it was not the colors of the typical brown pelican. It was a completely black in the color of coal, and it soon became apparent that the appearance of his bird was followed by the instance that has been weathered indeed. Now, when the ships went to sea into a frothy foam in the storm, clouds obscured from the vision to look out, the black pelican appeared, and this was a signal of storm warriors to prepare for their equipment. And it is said that the bird often guided the boat crew through the waves, locating the wrecked boats and survivors to rescue. If you think this is just a myth, station keepers Tate often mention the black pelican, which is referred to as the watchdog in his journal. Now, survivors of the shipwreck also have noted in their diaries that the pelican glided just above the surface into the water, giving them the hope of the rescue of the station. Now, throughout the history of the station, crewmen reported the resolution of the Black Pelican to assist the rescuers to warn of the dreadful weather. In 1915, the life saving service merged into what is now the U.S. Coast Guard. Eventually, many of the life saving rescue teams were shuttered and abandoned, and the sightings of the Black Pelican became less and less frequent. Today, boaters along the Outer Banks continue to report the Black Pelican when weather is getting worse. Perhaps this is a suit color savior board for which is a wayward, magnificent frigate board soaring along the skies. Now, maybe it might be a brown pelican with a rare melanistic color variation causing it to be all black. Either way, it doesn't matter. For those in need, it was a guardian angel, masquerading as a pelican. When fascinating stories of the cultural history begins to fade away, at least one legend of this story, O building, lives to talk about the name of this restaurant. What do y'all think? I will love North Carolina is on my list of places to go to, and I really want to go here. If y'all have any experience with this place or been there, please let me know in the comments. I will see y'all next time. Y'all have a great day, and we're gonna be talking about the Saks Covered Bridge.